They chillin' in Alaska, swimming in Atlanta, vultures out in Beemore, they Kira, Carolina, they wildin' in Chicago, howlin' down in Big D, Mile High in Denver, that Tallahassee pride is deep, they lunchin' in Vancouver, Desparados shootin', the renegades on the loose, the hyenas lootin', gold out in QC, who higher than them sparrows, the Furies swooping in divine order for the pharaohs, Indy on the rise, the sharks about to mash, gladiators, knights and Aztecs about to clash. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. First and 10, I'm so aggressive. The end zone, the game plan, no pressure. They gotta pay me how they measure me. You know these haters on my back like the referee. You know I'm in it to win it. Game day, I'm about my business, I gotta get it. So I'm all about my ends. And these non-stop wins. They can't touch us, can't touch us. We turning up on these suckers. You know the D brought the ruckus. Cause we tighter than the huddles. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. Yeah. Third down is going down. Round and pound, oh, we gotta air them out. That's why I gotta hit the route. Hit the flat, if I catch it, then I'm out. 40 inches gotta take. YOLO, just no pump fake. So tighten up and hit the power high. The outer blow to draw them off sides.
Ryan Michaels gets a block midfield. Ryan Michaels, he could be gone. Trying to make come from behind, he will not. Touchdown, Houston.
Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party.
Jay Yola shakes it. Oh my goodness, and Yola gets away. Jay Yola on the first play for Tallahassee is going to score again. Left side, Odom gets away. Odom breaks another tackle. Ash Odom, you've got to be kidding me. Big chase, 10-1 touchdown. Oh my word.
Tonight, Tulsa has reversed their fortunes, winners of 3 in a row, traveling out west to take on a team that has won so many games in a row it's tough to keep to count. The undefeated defending champion, Alaska Storm, welcome in the 4-4 and currently second place in the South, Tulsa Desparados. Will Tulsa step up to the challenge, or will Alaska pull back ahead of the number 1 seed? We find out next. Welcome to the eye of the storm. A beautiful afternoon as the sun sets in Anchorage, 59 degrees. For tonight's ball game between the Tulsa Desparados and the Alaska Storm here on Fan Night, Week 9's Game of the Week. Along with Jeff Melanishin on stats, Stephen Mullinex, I'm Cameron Irvine. How you doing, Stephen?
Hey, doing great, Cam. Wonderful to be here in Alaska for some Monday night action. Despite it being only 59 degrees, the forecast calls for a complete whiteout as the 8-0 Alaska Storm looks to continue their dominance tonight. And Tulsa rides into the eye on a 4-game winning streak themselves. Can a red-hot Michael Martin and the Desparados take down the Goliath of the SFL? We'll find out tonight.
Coin toss is next. Cochran and Martin meet at center field. Martin's enjoying a pretty good season in Tulsa. We'll get to more of that in a little bit. Tulsa wins the toss. Or actually, no, Alaska wins the toss, and the Storm will defer to the second half. That means we'll get to see Michael Martin first, and this Tulsa Desperado offense. 4-4 against 8-0, Alaska in the all-blue. And Tulsa in the white and bright silver. Brad Bretchett's got the ball on the tee. Kick it. We're underway. Past the 10. This is Charles Ball on the return. Ball bouncing off tacklers and gets it out of the 26-yard line. That's where the Desperados will start their first possession.
Under center, Michael Martin coming off probably his best game of the season. 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in a big upset win over Houston last week.
3 receivers and 2 backs in the backfield for Martin. 7 in the box for Alaska. They start the game with a handoff to Sanzo Robinson, and look at the blocking. Robinson picks up 7 after shedding a tackler. Ryan Davidson there on the initial stop. 2nd down and 3. This Tulsa offense led by Michael Martin in his 2nd season out of London. Quarterback number 1. The receivers number 10, Andre Godspeed, 2nd season out of London. Stephen Bush, number 11, 2nd season out of Oklahoma City. And Corey Jones, his 4th season, last played in Vancouver. Sanzo Robinson is the running back, formerly of Baltimore. Robinson takes another carry. Robinson's got a first down and more. Along that right side moves the chains for a Tulsa first down to the 43.
Well, this is a Desperados offense that's, ranks 19th in the league, averaging only 65 yards on the ground, but clearly trying to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into the Alaska Storm's defensive plans, looking to run the ball early.
A minute in, Alaska shifting some defense. Martin's going to throw for the first time tonight. 5-step drop deep down the middle. Caught. First down, Stephen Bush down to the Storm, 37-yard line.
Well, just a nice route here by Bush and really pinpoint accuracy by Michael Martin to find him on that little drag route there in the middle of the field. But, boy, what a good gain. And, man, this Tulsa team is looking really confident here early.
1st and 10 of the 37, trying to quiet the crowd. 4 receivers, 2 to either side for Martin. Robinson's in the backfield. Martin changes the play at the line to a pattern to the far side of the field, caught for an 8-yard gain. That's Damon McIntosh, the tight end, to get it to the Storm 29-yard line. Alaska's defense, Ryan Tobin, number 21 at free safety. No star strong safety on this squad, but a couple of great corners. Number 29, Evan Carroll. Number 44, Ryan Davidson. Andrew Francis in his 3rd season, outside linebacker number 52. DJ Majesty, acquired from Houston in the offseason, outside linebacker number 95. And, of course, an MVP candidate, defensive tackle number 69, Alex Dominguez, big sexy. That pass is ruled a catch. That is concerning, I think is the best way to call that, as there was no way he was in bounds.
Yeah, I think ridiculous is a better word. Absolute must challenge here. And you know what? That's bad for Alaska, because they're having to use a challenge on a play that was clearly called wrong.
So, get a look at it. Again, not that we need it. We don't need it, that's for sure. Wow, that did not come out of Martin's hands right. And, yeah, Godspeed. I think the guy working the chains had a better chance of being in bounds than Godspeed.
After review, the pass has been ruled incomplete.
And Max Paul wins the challenge. Hey, every once in a blue moon, I mean, it's so hard to see through that little hole there, looking at that play on the sideline.
Yeah, I think they have an Atari 2600 underneath there. some of these calls that they make.
3rd down and 2 at the Storm 29. Regardless, Tulsa still has a good chance of picking up the first down the way they've been moving the ball. That's the first time they haven't gotten positive yardage on a play. This is going to go out to Robinson. He did not get the blockers he needs, and Francis puts him down for a 2-yard loss, and Tulsa stalls out.
Well, they come out in a run formation, trying to do a little trickery here, but the pass was just a little bit late, and Robinson had to gather himself, and in that amount of time, this Alaska Storm defense is just going to swarm and get you behind the line of scrimmage. So asking a lot of Robinson there.
Andrew Wheeler, 6'1", 190, is the kicker for Tulsa. This is from 48 yards away for the Desparados to get on the board first. And Wheeler's kick from 48 is good. What a kick. And Wheeler's got Tulsa on the board, 3-0.
Yeah, that's a tough kick here. And you remember, this is in Alaska, so this is going into a foreign crowd here and nailing a 48-yarder. You know, there's contract kickers that can't make that kick consistently. So nice job there by the Desperados. But surely the way that they were rolling, they wanted a little bit more.
Bit shout-outs, SFL player personnel with the 100 with birthday candles or a cupcake for some reason. He's now top of the leaderboard at 115. And of course, we've got some new, as Como returns up to the 28-yard line, we've got some good new SFL emotes to use. And of course, now when you cheer Bits in the chat room, you get a little SFL icon. If you cheer more than 100 or more than 1,000 or however you find yourself cheering tonight, it changes colors. Good job by our administration team spicing things up in the chat tonight. 8:25 to go in the first quarter. 3-0 Tulsa. Jeff Melanishin on stats. Stephen Mullinex is my analyst. And Cochran will start the game with a pass out to Nordellis to pick up 3 yards for the Storm.
Yeah, nice job there by the Tulsa defender to make that open field tackle. You could see that it appeared that the Desperados are blitzing, and Cochran, of course, the ever conscious veteran, able to really sniff that out early, get to his release valve, and get 3 yards out of that.
Cochran out of split backs, 2nd and 7 at the 31-yard line. And he's going to fake the handoff to Williams, and Cochran now fires it outside, actually to Williams. That pass is caught for a first down and more. Down to the Storm 47-yard line. We saw this last week as well, Stephen, and Alaska, one of the few teams executing play action to perfection. Sioux Falls is another that comes to mind.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. That play action was perfect, and, you know, we don't often see that, but what that play action really allows is for more time for Cochran to sit in the pocket and work his progressions, and there he found Williams wide open for a big gain.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. 3 receivers, 2 off the right side for Cochran, 4 down linemen, and Tulsa bringing some pressure. That pass is caught on the far side for pickup of 5 to Robert Merrill, but an excellent tackle in the open field by Heslip. The Alaska offense, quarterback number 3, Ron Cochran, in his 3rd season. The receivers, Jeff Como in his 2nd season, number 13. Robert Merrill, 4th season, number 18. And Optimus Klein in his 4th season, number 88. All of those seasons with Alaska. And, of course, the rookie fullback picked 20th in the draft, Jason Williams, a star of this offense as well, as Cochran on 2nd down and 5 will fire it. One-handed catch over the middle of the decline of the Tulsa 33. Charles Ball with the big hit.
Well, it wasn't a perfect pass here by Ron Cochran, but it doesn't have to be when you're throwing to the big guy, Optimus Klein. He's willing to take that hit, but just look at the concentration to hold on to that ball. He knows he's going to take a licking, but he can keep on ticking, holds that ball, and that's what you expect out of your big man.
Tonight's nursery rhymes are brought to you by Stephen Mullinex. 1st and 10 at the 33. As Cochran out of the gun will fire it deep down the middle of the field and incomplete. Kanye Rockefeller breaking that up. Jeff Como was the intended target.
Well, you know, normally Ron Cochran thrives when the lights are the brightest, but last week had a rough outing against Mexico City. 5 interceptions, 0 touchdowns for a guy that many of us consider a possible MVP candidate, looking to see if he can have a bounce-back game here at home.
Empty backfield, 5 wide, Tulsa in the nickel. Cochran stands at his 38. Back to throw, the lefty, deep down the middle again. Caught, first down to the 7. 1st and goal as Klein stops, drops, and rolls. He's on fire.
Well, we've seen this before, Cam. Alaska's offensive coordinator does a really good job of creating these routes that just have their receivers wide open. And then when you have a guy like Cochran under center who has a knack for throwing wide receivers open. It's been a winning combination that's resulted in 8 straight wins here.
Kanye might regret not getting that interception as Alaska's moving. Williams shoves off a defender, and he picks up 1 out to the 6-yard line. Eventually making the stop is Gib Lidu.
Yeah, that was Kyron Hill, the outside linebacker that tried to go head-to-head with Williams and got knocked backwards, but luckily he had a little defensive support, making this 2nd and goal a little bit more easy for the defense to defend.
2nd down and goal at the 6-yard line. 4 receivers, 3 to the right for Cochran. Play action here. Cochran got it away for a touchdown. Took a licking, but Jeff Como puts it away.
Again, we see the play action, giving Cochran time to work his progression. Finds the open Cochran to the right side of the field. There's not a defender even close to him as 2 defenders go on another receiver. Just a perfect game plan. And again, it all goes back to Cochran selling that fake on the play action. You know, this team is, they're as equally as dangerous through the air as they are on the ground. And Cochran in this offense taking advantage of that.
Cochran making it happen on Alaska's opening possession. That the extra point rather by Brad Bretchett is good. It's 7-3. Chat shout-outs. First, 100 bits from Ron Cochran. By the way, said he would cheer 100 bits for every touchdown he throws for the rest of the season. Didn't have any last week. Got his first one tonight. 100 bits also from Biz Woofer, and I did not miss your very nice compliment. Loving the commentary from the beginning of the broadcast, so thank you so much. He is now the top of the SFL cheering leaderboards with 150 as those are reset today. Charles Ball on the return, and Ball, who we know is an electrifying returner, he has been so in prime time, gets out to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, we've seen Charles Ball do some special things, especially last season, in his debut. Boy, he put on an absolute show. But here, this season has only recorded 56 tackles. Does have 3 interceptions. We expect so much from the reigning MVP.
5:22 to go in the first. Tulsa is down, and Martin will throw, and Martin nearly throws a pick. A little bit under duress. That pass knocked away by Chris Mack.
Yeah, that was all about pressure, Cam. That Martin getting a lot of pressure in his face. Having to throw the ball just a tick earlier than he wanted to. And as you can see the result, the ball gets knocked down. Dangerous ball to be thrown. But Martin in this offense lived to play another play.
5:18 to go in the first quarter. 2 receivers, 1 on either side. That's Godspeed at the top and Bush at the bottom. Bush has a catch and a 3-step drop and a sack on Martin. Getting to the quarterback, that was Marcy Charles. And a loss of 4 for Tulsa. Now it's 3rd and long.
Well, make no mistake, Alex Dominguez is in there causing havoc, causing actually 2 offensive linemen to take him on. That allows one-on-ones across the defensive line, which makes it easier for them to get pressure.
3rd and 14 at the 26, empty backfield for Martin. Tulsa trying to avoid a 3-and-out against a 4-man rush. In trouble, Big Sexy brings him down back at the 18-yard line to add to his single-season sack total.
Yeah, leads the league right now, 27.5 sacks. That's 11.5 more than the next closest defender that qualifies, Camp. He is having, enough for 2 players. He's had so many sacks. This guy is just dominating right now. We've seen him take over games like this.
From the 43, Como got a little bit of space, picked up 5. Shout-outs for real this time. C. Pundy, Ram Voice, Alex D, 4210, Biz Wolfer, Vancouver Legion, PB and Jotter, Mighty RX, Eric JDWA holding it down. R. Cochran, Vancouver Legion. If I said it twice, you're in luck. The Trash Car, Iceman Gervin, 44, Buddha 504, and many others out there with us tonight. SFL Nation for Fan Night now. Penalty on Tulsa. Cochran, deep ball down the field, caught wide open. Merrill to the 25-yard line. And, Stephen, here we go. Alaska's starting to impose their will.
Right. They look near perfect on the last drive. Just a couple mistakes here. You can't hand Alaska yardage, as this offsides is going to be negated because they want the big game. But this is what the entire SFL has had to deal with all season, and the Desparados getting a taste of it here in Alaska's home in the eye. But here Cochran just dots the eye to Merrill, a guy that's been kind of underused this year, Cam. You know, we're used to seeing Merrill being really the most stable of all the wide receivers in this Alaska receiving corps. So far this season, only 36 receptions, which is kind of low for him, but he does have a team-leading 6 receiving touchdowns.
1st and 10 at the 25. 4 receivers, 2 to either side for Cochran. Cochran will throw again, and Ron Cochran's going far side again. Caught again. Touchdown again. Robert Merrill scores. It's 13-3.
Well, it's that same corner route, and it's to Merrill, and once again now logging in his 7th scoring touchdown of the season. But it's the perfect throw from Cochran. Cochran gets it out over Merrill so he can make that nice basket catch over the shoulder, and he's doing it while he's still in the process of running. He doesn't have to come back for it. He doesn't have to jump for it. It's right. Perfect placement by Cochran there, and just too easy for this Alaska Storm offense. And you think, Cam, that Cochran in this offense would be afraid to throw to that side because that's where Charles Ball is, but here showing absolutely no fear.
So the extra point coming from Bratchett. That kick is good, 14-3. The Storm on top of the Desperados, and we're back in 30 seconds after word from the SFL.
Want to do what I do? Contact me in the DM on Discord to find out how you can get involved with streaming live games, calling games, or breaking them down on the air with our broadcast team. Or help make our production even better by joining our new live stats team, helping our broadcasters shine brighter. We are #LoadingLegends. SFL.
It took a little bit for Charles Ball to get going there. An awkward return only out of the 19-yard line. And Stephen, I felt last drive Tulsa got a little too impatient. 3 throws and a 3-and-out for Michael Martin. I really liked what I saw at Asanzo on the first drive.
Yeah, I liked that they came out and the first 2 plays on the first series were runs, and now they've looked in this kind of run formation and tried to trick Alaska by throwing the ball. See what they do here.
They're going to run it right up the gut to Robinson, and Robinson able to shift his shoulders and pick up 7 yards. Really nice run for Robinson, made something out of nothing there.
Yeah, Robinson's starting to show signs of really heating up, and this is a game plan that you know, Tulsa probably wishes they ran a little bit more heavy, just based on what we're seeing out of Robinson. But they are in the game plan that they're in, and they plan for Alaska and try to figure out ways to defeat this defense, you know, that ranks number 3 in the league, allowing only 15 points per game.
Robinson into a sea of blue, picks up just 1, 3rd down and 2. Back-to-back 100-bit cheers from Ron Cochran. He now leads the way on the leaderboards in the chat.
Yeah, Cochran so far tonight, 8 of 9 passes, 2 touchdowns, 124 yards, making up for his mistakes in the previous game.
2 receivers, 1 to either side, 3rd down and 2. Martin going to throw on a 3-step drop. Fires, caught, 1st down to Bush. Boy, I tell you what, it takes some serious huevos to drop back 3 times on a 3rd down after Alex Dominguez got the sack on the last drive, but Martin makes it happen, and now Alaska's challenging again. I don't think they're going to win this one.
Yeah, I think that he was probably in bounds, but again, that Atari 2600 under that hood may say something different. But Cam, I think that was just a perfect play call by the Desperados. You don't want to have Martin holding the ball too long. As you mentioned, Alex Dominguez is on a tear right now, so you want to have this short out to allow him to release the ball quickly.
3,300 bits from AJ Pick 6 while we were in review. And Max Paul's going to lose that challenge. So Alaska's going to lose a timeout. Tulsa putting together just a little bit of momentum. You know, Stephen, I don't even know if it was about winning the challenge. I think Max Paul is just trying to get in the head of the Desperados a little bit by being on his toes and making him wait.
Well, let's not forget, he doesn't just lose a timeout. He loses all of his challenges. They already had a challenge earlier in this quarter, and if they would have won this challenge, they would have gotten another one. They don't. They're out of challenges.
Robinson on a trap, and look at him move the legs out to the 43-yard line. Great point about the challenges, Steven, and a heck of a run from Robinson. That's probably the best run I've seen at him all season.
Yeah, Robinson's really known more as a receiving back out of the backfield, but here showing a lot of power and running with a head of steam, barreling through bodies. Boy, if this is what we're going to get out of Robinson tonight, this could get exciting.
2:26 to go in the first. Back-to-back first downs for Tulsa, trying to get back into scoring position as they were on the first drive. Got a 48-yard field goal from Wheeler. Handoff Robinson again up the middle. They are attacking the Storm right up the gut. Now 40 yards on 7 carries for Robinson, picks up 5.
Well, I like this adjustment by Tulsa. Initially, they went to the run. They had success, and they went away with it, trying to get Martin and his receiver core going. But now they've recognized they're finding success on the ground, and they're milking it for all it's worth.
2nd and 5 at the 48. Handoff Robinson again running right. Robinson's got a first down and more. 40, 35, 30. Sonzo Robinson all the way down to the 21-yard line. Deceptively quick. Robinson is running all over Alaska here in the first quarter.
And Robinson goes virtually untouched for nearly 30 yards. But, Cam, we got to give credit to those blockers, the fullback, the big uglies, the offensive linemen, able to get in there and hold their blocks. And look, you don't have to hold them long when you've got somebody with blazing 4.3 speed like you do Robinson.
4 different blocks picked up there on that right side from Tulsa. Stellar running. They're going to go again right side. And Robinson this time a little bit gassed. Gets tackled for just a 1-yard gain. The important wrap-up by Ramel Hernandez.
Yeah, if Robinson goes just a little bit more outside of his blocker, I think that tight end would be able to hold. Actually, he had 2 guys that he needed to hold. I think he could have done it, but Robinson just getting a little bit too close to the fire got burnt there.
2nd and 9 of the 19. Heavy dose of Robinson in the first quarter. Now Martin dropping back deep, going to the end zone. Martin's pass is knocked around and incomplete. Just a touch underthrown. Looking for Bush, and Tobin was in on the coverage, 3rd down.
Well, Tobin, that's a dangerous defender to target. 66 tackles on the season, a whopping 4 interceptions. And let's not forget, this man stands at 6'4", 218 pounds. There's not many passes that are going to go over his head.
3rd down and 9. That's a couple opportunities at interceptions that Alaska has failed to come up with. Martin changing the play at the line, trying to get to the 10.5-yard line. Martin steps up in the pocket, goes down the middle of the field, incomplete, knocked away. And that was a stellar play by Hernandez at strong safety, intended for Miller. Hernandez playing better than he's played throughout the course of the season, and that brings up another field goal for Tulsa.
Well, Michael Martin there, the perfect really pass and play from him, able to step up in the pocket as the pass rush was really pressing down on him and gets it to his receiver, and the receiver just can't bring it in.
This is a 36-yard attempt for Wheeler, made from 48. Ball's on the right hash. Good snap, good hold. Wheeler's field goal from 36 yards away is good. And Tulsa is now 2 for 2 on field goals. Alaska 2 for 2 on touchdowns, and they've not been stopped. And eventually, that's exactly what Tulsa's going to need.
Well, Tulsa here just trying to hang on. You know, you're scoring field goals. Alaska's scoring touchdowns. That's a formula that cannot continue if you're the Desparados. Here, you're going to need to get your defense to step up and hold the Storm and give your offense another opportunity to get on the board.
Still 1 quarter down, and Tulsa has managed to keep this a 1-possession game on the road against the unbeaten defending champions. This is Como on the return out of the 29-yard line. Tackled there in the center of the field by Tyrone Omega. And Cochran returns to the field, and he has been unstoppable.
Yeah, nearly perfect. Again, 8 of 9, 2 touchdowns under his belt already here in the first quarter. But here's the thing that we haven't really talked about, Cam, is the fact that the Storm haven't really run the ball much. They've been kind of one-dimensional and been finding so much success. What happens if their running game gets on point?
Well, play action now for Cochran, going far side, just out of the reach of Charles Ball. Picks up 6, does Merrill, already 4 catches, 63 yards. And Stephen, we've seen Alaska quite a bit this season, and Robert Merrill has not necessarily been the household name that we're used to in terms of his receptions, but he's still doing well out there.
Well, that's really because of the emergence of Jeff Como in this offensive system as the third wide receiver. He's been getting an unusual amount of looks because of how talented he is.
Cochran going long, and it's nearly intercepted. That was a double coverage on that near side. Kyler Murray and Kanye Rockefeller in there, and that ball got away from Cochran a little bit.
Well, that's one of them old school alley-oop plays from early football there. You used to call them the old alley-oop, where you just throw the ball up and you hope that your big receiver there in Optimus Klein at 6'4", 225 will jump up and get that ball there. Just tries to catch it on his chest. Didn't work out.
Cochran sidearm throw picks up the first down to the 42. That was to Klein, and that ends the first quarter of play. And what a first quarter it was for Cochran and the Storm. 2 for 2 offensively. Tulsa's got 2 field goals too. Hanging in there. This is the SFL's Fan Night Game of the Week, presented by APM Music on the SFL Network on Twitch TV. Back in 60.
APM Music is the official theme music provider of the SFL. Listen to their Champions Will Rise soundtrack at apmmusic.com and visit their all-new esports landing page to find the best highlight music, heroic action, and epic sounds to boost the quality of your esports stream just like us. Log on to forum.apmmusic.com/esports for more information. APM Music, production music library and custom music house.
Here at MediaTek, our goal is to create a well-rounded media professional. MediaTek is a place where you can turn dreams into reality. Our comprehensive recording arts, digital film, animation, mobile apps, and web development courses are focused on being very hands-on. We are a career-focused school. Our instructors are not only great teachers, they are also working professionals with real-world experience. MediaTek, come see what your future holds.
The Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, is also brought to you in part by Show Business Studios, MediaTek Institute, Richards Printworks, ScoreStream, and Spygoat. The beautiful Anchorage, Alaska, our setting for tonight's Fan Night game. And the setting for Alaska's first down to the 42-yard line to start the second quarter. Cochran going to throw again. He's been busy tonight. Cochran near side, caught wide open. Jeff Como, and Alaska obviously throwing a little bit more than we're used to seeing out of the Storm here this season, and for good reason.
Yeah, and Cochran's really been spreading the wealth tonight to Klein, to Merrill, to Como. I think even the water boy has a catch. So they're just really opened up this passing offense. That's scary because they haven't really even unleashed Jason Williams yet.
First and 10 for the 47, rushing 4. Tulsa going to get a game tackle. Espen Real is also there. We missed an opportunity to give you the full Tulsa Desparados stars of the defense in the first quarter. Cornerbacks on the outside, Nate Heslip and Kyler Murray in their second seasons in the SFL, both with Tulsa. Kanye Rockefeller is now the free safety, his 6th season. He's working on a Hall of Fame career. Inside linebacker Espen Real wears number 99. Ghibli Doo, we've heard from once. Tonight's 16th pick of the draft is the defensive end, number 95. That is caught again. And every time I speak, it seems like I'm saying Cochran with a completion. Julian catches that for a first down.
Yeah, here just a simple slant route, and Cochran's able to really identify him right in the middle of the field. Probably got him the ball just a tad late as he was open throughout his route, but Julian, we've seen him be one of the most consistent, role players in the SFL.
Rhett Sawyer on the defensive line, number 54, a Week 2 signing, and Charles Ball, number 48, at strong safety, of course. How could we forget? On to Nordellis. He's got blockers. Nordellis just near the first down to the 19-yard line. Cochran already 174 passing yards. Tulsa needs a turnover bad.
Well, Nordellis, boy, what a nice little play there by the role-playing running back. Most running backs, Cam, in that situation would go out of bounds. He actually spun back inbounds and got them there probably within an inch of the first down marker.
2nd and inches at the 19. 9:30 to go in the second quarter. 4-3 defense from Tulsa. And Tulsa got a push up front, but doesn't matter because it's going outside of Nordellis again. First down to the 14. Cochran and the Storm pushing all the right buttons here in the first half offensively.
Yeah, Nordellis saw nothing but the green grass of home there, as he had just tons of field to play with. Gets that first down easily, and Cochran showing just how much in command he is of this offense.
6 in the box and nobody in the short middle of the field. Cochran going to throw on a crossing pattern to Como. That only picks up 1. Tulsa does a good job of sealing that up. 2nd and 9.
Yeah, just Tulsa playing zone back there and reading that really well. But still, you can play perfect defense and somehow Alaska's offense still gains a yard. So that's just been the story of the season, not just of tonight for the Storm.
Cochran 16 of 18, 182 yards. Jason Williams only has 1 carry in the first half for 1 yard. Cochran to throw on 2nd and 9. Short out, near side, caught for a 6-yard pickup. That's Klein. 3rd and 3 at the 8. And if Tulsa wants to stop playing catch-up tonight, they'll make a statement here on this 3rd down.
Yeah, it just feels like Alaska's toying with the Desparados defense a little bit here. Certainly taking what they're giving them. But, Cam, honestly, I'm just tired of saying good things about the Storm. It seems like every time they play in primetime, other than what happened in Mexico City last weekend, they've just had glowing reviews from me.
Well, Cochran won't get glowing reviews for laying his receiver out there, as Como was the intended target. He left him on an island. Great hit over the middle, and we'll get a chance to see who popped him.
Well, I'd like to see a little bit more patience from Cochran here as we see. It looks like to me, is that Charles Ball? 48.
Get a better look here. No, it's Rockefeller over the middle.
Rockefeller. For the 6 and the 8 always gets me, but regardless, just a nice play there by this Tulsa defense to hold back the Storm and limit them to this field goal try.
So we've had 6 possessions in the first half. 3 field goals, 2 touchdowns, and 1 punt on that 3 and out after the big sexy sack. Bretschett trying to make it 3 for 3 in terms of field goals made tonight in this ball game. Bretschett from 24 yards away. That's good. And Alaska's 3 for 3 on offense, 17-6. But you got to figure, all things considered, Stephen, if I'm Tulsa, I just continue to run the ball because they're still very much in this game, thanks in a big part, to Sanzo Robinson.
Yeah, not quite time to hit the panic button, but certainly not in the position you want to be, down 11 in Alaska, and your offense has only been able to generate field goals so far. It would be really big if Tulsa, before halftime, was able to put a touchdown on the board.
Return up to the 25-yard line for Charles Ball. 7:59 to go in the second. We'll bring up the playoff picture here in a little bit. That was released earlier this week.
One thing we didn't mention, Brad Bretschett, with that field goal, he has hit 21 of 22 so far this season. So a field goal percentage above 95%. So one of the most accurate and lethal kickers in the XFL.
1st and 10 of the 25. Martin going to throw. Oh, incomplete. Pass a little bit low, and an excellent hit by Tobin over the middle. The pass was intended for Will Danderson, and Stephen, the last drive that they had to punt, they started throwing on 1st down.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily throwing to their key wide receivers. But
right.
Just remember, Godspeed is coming off a 9-reception, 126-yard, and 1 touchdown game. Bush and Jones both had a touchdown each in their last game. They haven't been, Martin hasn't been targeting them as much.
Tobin's really been playing well. Martin, deep down the field, caught by Godspeed, getting open down the middle to the Alaska 47. Tobin on the tackle, but Martin with pressure in his face. Beautiful throw.
Yeah, and he just handles that with grace and sits in the pocket like there's no pressure at all. Delivers a nice strike to Godspeed, who does have to reach out to grab it. But this is your number 1 wide receiver. 60 receptions, 746 yards, 3 touchdowns on the season.
7.5 to go. 9 carries, 72 yards for Robinson, but it stays with Martin. Martin hit as he threw, going deep in coverage, and Bush should have had that one, knocking over an official. Dominguez was applying some more pressure, and we're seeing Martin taking a lot of chances here trying to play catch-up.
Yeah, the deep drop back still only affords him just a second or two of time to get the ball away because Alaska's pass rush is right in his face. You've got to get your offensive line there to do a little bit better in getting him some pass protection.
8 in the box for the Storm. 2 in the backfield, Martin going to throw. Martin out to Robinson, good play call. Robinson, 45, breaks a tackle, 40, picks up 8 yards. Really love the play call there from Tulsa. Nobody on the outside.
Yeah, that's what Robinson's known for. You know, he was a running back. He turned into a wide receiver, became a running back again, has 39 receptions on the season. So he's used to being that receiving threat out of the backfield. And there he makes this a manageable 3rd and 2.
Out of the eye, they go 8 in the box again. 4-4 look, 3rd down and 2. Martin going to throw it out to Robinson again. Robinson's got a first down to the 35-yard line. We saw Vancouver have a lot of success in the swing game in their narrow loss to the Storm a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and this is a Tulsa team that's tied for 3rd in the SFL in 3rd down conversions, converting 53% of those attempts. So they are experts when it comes to getting those critical yards to convert first downs.
Both of these offenses, top 4 passing offenses in the SFL, though we haven't seen as much from Martin in the first half. Martin going to throw near side, pass caught, Godspeed, almost broke a tackle. Forward progress puts him at the 30, a pickup of about 5.5. Carroll on the stop.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the refs give him that forward progress as he got pushed backwards. Could have been lost at least a couple of yards on the way that he traveled back there, but now we're starting to see the Desparados click and getting already in field goal range. Can they get it in the end zone?
2nd and 4 at the 30, 6:06 to go in the first half. Martin out to Robinson, 3rd straight time. Robinson picked up a couple, brings up 3rd down and 2. Really good open field tackle by Nate Bryant.
Yeah, but I feel like Martin really rushed the pass there. Didn't even allow his drop back to fully develop before he flung it really just with his wrist out there to Robinson. Obviously trying to see if the Robinson can take somebody one-on-one and beat them. Couldn't, got caught in the open field, but was able to get a couple yards.
Now going empty on 3rd down and 2 from the 28 for Martin, halfway through the 2nd quarter. Martin changing the play, back to pass. There was an out at the bottom of the screen. Instead, down the middle, caught in traffic at the 13-yard line. What a ball. Damon McIntosh with his 2nd catch of the night. Martin gets greedy down the field. It pays off.
Yeah, talk about a gutsy throw on 3rd and 2. You know you need this conversion to try to get you in the end zone and get you that desperately needed 6 or 7 points there. And you go to the role-playing tight end who's able to use his height and his frame to pull that ball down.
Thought for sure Martin was going to go to Godspeed bottom of the screen. He did not. Hand off Robinson, first time on the drive, and Robinson picks up 8 yards to the Storm 5-yard line. 80 yards on 10 carries for Sanzo.
Well, up here in the booth, Cam, I thought that was going to be a play action by Martin. Martin really sold that handoff. I thought he still had the ball. Apparently, the Alaska defenders thought the same thing because they left a wide open hole in the middle of their defensive line for Robinson to gash through.
9 in the box, Alaska. 3 down lineman for Tulsa on a 2nd and 2 from the 5. 4:35 to go in the first half. Hand off Robinson. Robinson right up the gut. Nobody touched him, and Tulsa cuts the deficit to 5.
Well, Cam, give this one all the credit to the blockers in front of Robinson. He had had a fullback and I believe a tight end there in the backfield with him. They go in untouched. He just follows them because their offensive line absolutely blasts back Alex Dominguez and his Alaskan D-line, making it look easy. Cam, they should have been running the ball this whole night. They look so good.
So the extra point coming from Wheeler, who's already 2 for 2 on field goals. And Wheeler's extra point is good. And I have to say, Stephen, we've, as mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot of Alaska. We've seen some of Tallahassee and some of Carolina, all the teams at the top. And we very rarely say that the underdog on the road has executed a game plan to near perfection. Offensively anyway. Mexico City did a great job defensively last week, but struggled to move the ball. Tulsa's offensive execution in this first half has been near flawless, and they're down 4.
Well, it certainly came into focus here as we're getting closer here to halftime, but I really think that was a statement series by the Desparados. They have shown that they can come into an undefeated team's house and really establish themselves both through the air and through the ground, and that's something that we have rarely seen happen to Alaska.
Started 0-4, winners of 4 straight games. The Desperados, who of course got off to the really hot start last season and then sort of tuckered out and then lost at home to Houston in the first round, or in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs, as Cochran fires it outside to Nordellis, and he stumbles around and drops it, and the Tulsa bench heckles him from the sideline, 2nd and 10.
Well, I don't think that when they go back and look at film of that one, they're gonna really hound him too much about dropping that ball. He actually had 3 blockers in front of him that absolutely missed 2 blocks, and Nordellis was going to get tackled in the backfield regardless. So that actually probably saved Alaska a yard or 2.
2nd and 10 at the 30, 4:26 to go. Cochran going to throw. Cochran against some pressure outside, throws it that way. Merrill viciously tackled at the 38-yard line, an 8-yard pickup. Believe that was Rockefeller again on the outside, and Merrill's got 5 catches.
Well, Merrill, the absolute route technician, runs this out to perfection and is able to adjust here with a 360 spin to catch that ball. But there are no surer hands on this Alaska receiving core than Merrill. If you need a big play, that's where Cochran is often looking towards number 18.
4:05 to go in the second quarter. I am enjoying this one. I hope all of you are too as well at home. Cochran pump fake, now fires far side, caught. Not the prettiest pass of the night for Cochran, but a first down to the 45, and Ron Cochran is now 18 of 22.
Well, that was just too easy, Cam. And how many times can we say that about somebody that's double covered, and it just was too easy. And the fact is, down the field, there were several open options for Cochran, and he just found the first one that he liked and delivered the perfect ball.
7 in the box, handoff Williams, and Williams only got a yard. So 2 carries, 2 yards. Espen Real shuts that down. 3:20 to go. Alaska trying to make it 4 for 4 scoring before the half. A lot of long drives in the first half.
Yeah, and maybe a reason why Alaska is not running the ball as much is because they know Espen Real is there manning the middle of the field there and probably is one-on-one spying Williams right now.
And off Williams again. Williams caught behind the line. Williams going the wrong way and lost 5 yards. He got turned around all kinds of crazy, and J. Bam Bam Cook brings him down in the backfield.
Well, Kim, I like the idea by the young man. You know, he stutter stepped to the right and tried to find a sliver of an opening, but then for some reason backfield like he's Reggie Bush at USC and got absolutely nothing and walloped for a 4-yard loss.
Great reference. It's been a long time since I thought about that play. 3rd and 14 at the 41, 2.5 to go in the first half. Cochran going to throw. Cochran deep down the middle of the field, and it's all forgiven. Jeff Como's got a first down at the 38, and Ron Cochran doing his best Aaron Rodgers impression tonight.
Yeah, is there anyone better, Cam? Under pressure, you need a big play. Ron Cochran, he just checks all the intangible boxes. He can deliver a pass with touch. He can deliver a pass with power. He's got the rocket arm. He's got the accuracy. And the guy is ice cold when it comes to being in the pocket. This is cold-blooded.
Play action. Cochran in trouble. He's going to be sacked at the 46-yard line. That sack by Gib Lidu, the 16th pick in the SFL's rookie draft, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning. What a second quarter. Tulsa hanging tough. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the SFL Network on Twitch. Fan Nights, Game of the Week. Second and 18 at the 46-yard line now for Cochran, well out of field goal range, but we've seen Alaska get out of second and third and long before tonight. Tulsa looking for their first full defensive stop of the game. Pass outside, Como stayed in bounds somehow. Or no, they did mark him eventually out of bounds after a 6-yard pickup, third and long.
Well, I believe, Cam, they sent Espen Real there on the blitz, and boy, he was in the backfield in no time, didn't have anybody on him. And he gets right into Cochran's face, forcing that early throw.
It's 3rd down and 12 at the 40. Final game of Week 9 before we head into an epic Week 10. We'll get into that schedule as well later in the night. Cochran going to throw on 3rd and long. Caught again! Tulsa back-to-back 3rd and longs. They've surrendered a big pass. They cannot get off the field.
Well, how many times have we said it, even just tonight, Cam, that you don't need a perfect pass to be delivered to Optimus Klein. He's got those large arms and big hands to create that large catching radius, and he's just able to catch anything, even a cold that comes around.
2 backs, 2 receivers. Cochran going to hand it off to Williams. Williams bowls over a defender, picks up 5. That's the first time we've seen Williams with a positive yardage gain tonight. And let's take a look at that playoff picture. Alaska #1 right now. Strength of victory tiebreaker over Tallahassee. A minute to go in the first half. Cochran fires it out to Williams. Nothing. Tulsa keeps the clock moving and forces the Storm into a timeout to pick up 1. And before the 3rd down, right back to the playoff picture. Stephen, what stands out to you?
How many teams that are below 500 or at 500 that are in either wild card race or in the hunt? That's amazing to me. And take a look at Tulsa. Tulsa 4-4 in the automatic qualifiers column. That just tells you the amount of parity that's in this league.
New Orleans, Houston, Atlanta, Oklahoma City. Oh, penalty on 3rd down and 5. Cochran to the end zone. It's out of bounds. And that may have just kept the drive alive for the Storm. Horrendous mistake.
Now, is that going to be enough to give them the first down? Let's see just how far away they were from the mark.
It's going to be 3rd and inches. So, not a foregone conclusion, but they got big boy Williams back there. Tulsa's done a pretty stellar job on him in the first half, but inches, he can get that just falling over.
Yeah, the Desparados defense not doing their offense any favors as the offense come alive, and the defense, that's their second offsides penalty.
3rd and inches at the 9, only 3 down linemen, and Cochran's going to throw. Cochran outside, caught, turning the corner. Oh, Klein didn't get in. What a punishing hit at the goal line by Heslip. Going no huddle now is Alaska, 1st and goal, and they're going to throw it out to Nordellis, who caught that one. Alaska's 4 for 4.
And we've seen them go to this play. I believe that's the 3rd time on this series as Cochran really just going to his release valve in Nordellis and just look, this veteran quarterback has such great vision, and it's to his left side, so he's not his back's not to it. He's able to see that there's no defender in sight and just able to really loft the ball to Nordellis for the easy touchdown. Boy, that's a tough one to give up by the Desperados with only 37 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Alaska will get the ball to start the second half, so Tulsa with 3 timeouts and 37 seconds to go really would like to get some points on the board before the half. Breccia's extra point is good, and the Storm continue their reign. We pause for 30 seconds from a message from the SFL.
Follow the SFL on Twitter @SimulationFL, on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels. You're already here, right? Might as well stay tuned. Get league updates on your phone while browsing the internet and make sure you never miss a live broadcast. Thank you for supporting the SFL.
Ball out of the 23. That took 6 seconds. Probably should have just taken a knee. 100 bits from R. Cochran in the chat. He's up to 400 now tonight, second on the leaderboard.
Well, how many times we talked about momentum in the game, Cam, and Tulsa's defense really just unable to hold back the Storm, ruining a real chance for Tulsa to take the lead in this ball game. And now they're in the cellar again, trying to climb back up.
Martin in trouble. And that probably seals the fate of the Desparados first half, as they're not in a hurry. Dominguez, second sack.
Second sack, Cam, 28.5 sacks. He could get to the 30 total in this game the way he's playing tonight.
Final play of the first half. Tulsa clearly just wanting to run this out. If they would have picked up 10, 15, 20 on that first play, you probably see a timeout. Instead, out to Robinson on a little dump off, and that ends the first half. So Tulsa's going to have to start the second half doing something they haven't done all night, which is stop the Alaska Storm offense, because they're down 24-13 at the break. 2K Sports Halftime Report is right around the corner. All right, Steve-O, here are the first half numbers. 260 to 182, both teams with a clean sheet.
Yeah, and Tulsa's offense, I really believe, is doing enough to keep them in this ball game. It's just their defense has absolutely no answer for what Alaska's doing. And while Tulsa's kicking field goals like the one that you're seeing here, Alaska's been scoring touchdowns, and that's been the real difference. And you know, this Tulsa offense did struggle early trying to get things going, and finally really seemed to get in a groove in the second quarter. But again, nothing has been able to derail this train that is and has been Alaska's offense for much of the season.
Jeff Melanishin is holding it down on stats tonight. Did you know that these two teams combined for 30 first downs in the first half? 30! Alaska had 17, Tulsa 13. Alaska also 5 of 6 on third down. Great stats from Melanishin tonight on part of our live stats team. Balance with Alaska's receivers. 84 yards on 6 catches for Klein. 78 yards on 6 catches for Merrill. 50 yards on 6 catches for Jeff Como. Just 2 apiece for Godspeed and Bush for 34 and 24 yards respectively. Corey Jones has only been targeted once and does not have a catch in the first half.
Wow, yeah, and that's a stark difference between these two offenses, Cam. You know, Tulsa's been mainly predicated on what Robinson can do, not just in the running game, but as a passing threat out of the backfield. Where on the other side of the ball, it's been Ron Cochran spreading the ball out to everybody, including the water boy, right? So it's just the two differences in offensive scheme and game plan that are coming to fruition, and you see why Alaska's been so dominant.
Cochran 25 of 29, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That's near a perfect QBR. Martin 10 of 15, 97 yards, not too shabby himself, but the Desparados will need to pick it up. And how much of Robinson will we be able to see if Tulsa gives up another touchdown? That is a big question.
Well, the fact that they use him a lot as a receiver, I still think he's going to be in the game plan, but he's really been his best when he is running the ball. And you're right, Cam. The more this lead gets extended, the less they're going to use that rushing attack.
So Como, good return out of the 33-yard line. That brings back out Ron Cochran.
And again, we haven't seen a lot out of Jason Williams. He's done what he's needed to do, and when his number's been called, particularly in the passing game, he's actually fared pretty well. But as this game continues to go on and Alaska continues to build this lead, if they do, we should see a lot out of the rookie tonight.
First and 10 at the 33 for the red-hot Ron Cochran, trying to get the Storm to 9-0, and Cochran will fire it out quickly to Nordellis, protecting that football. Spins back inside for a 2-yard gain. Murray on the stop, and there's the quarterback comparison one more time.
Yeah, and Alaska has not been afraid to go to Nordellis a lot in this game. You know, when we talk about the rushing offense for Alaska, we always talk about the fullback Jason Williams, but Nordellis was the back in the backfield last season when they won a championship, and he shows you his worth on plays like that.
Cochran play action, and outside complete to Williams. They love getting the fullback the ball in as many ways as possible. Max Paul, whoa, little shove there. Kyron Hill upset at whatever Williams just said. 3rd and 3.
Well, they need that. Tulsa needs a little fire like that. They could really use it because they're getting their butts whipped here on prime time. So they need to step up because this Alaska Storm offense is making them look bad.
Need a little bite. 3rd down and 3 at the 41. This would do a lot for Tulsa's confidence. Cochran going to throw. Cochran just got it away to Nordellis. Nordellis running the wrong way. Lost 4 yards, and Tulsa gets their first stop of the night.
Well, it's hard to blame Nordellis. You know, the way that he caught the ball just was awkward, and he had to take time to gather himself. And in that time, big old number 54, the big hoss.
Look at that.
Trucking down right on top of him. That's got to be one of Nordellis' biggest fears in life, to have a guy that size bearing down on him.
That reminded me of the water boy when he's running up on the running up on the guy. He was coming for him big time.
There's no doubt he was making that noise as he was trucking towards him.
4th and 7. Excellent play by Sawyer. That's one for his memoirs as ball returns up to the 28-yard line. Okay, that's got to give the offense a little bit of a spark here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, now we thought that Alaska was going to take the ball and run when they got the ball in the second half, but the Desparados defense comes out for really the first time in this game and holds Alaska from scoring. Let's see if this offense can take advantage.
1st down and 10 at the 28, 9:30 to go in the 3rd. 24-13, Alaska leads, trying to protect their win streak. Martin's pass, perfect on a rope to the far sideline to the 39-yard line, caught by Marcel Miller.
And Miller with the nice route, Cam, just giving Martin a nice wide open window to fit that ball in, and Martin really zips that pass right in the numbers, and this guy can be extremely accurate if given the time. He just hasn't had a lot of time in that pocket tonight.
2 backs, 2 receivers for Martin. Line shifts. Everybody 9 yards from the line of scrimmage. Martin going deep, trying to test those safeties, and Tobin says, "Did I pass?" Yes, you did. No gain.
Yeah, that's not a guy that you want to test there in the secondary. I actually think that Martin released the ball a tad early as he saw the pressure coming towards him, and if he'd allowed his receiver to maybe get ahead of Tobin just a little bit, that might have been a chance. But Tobin, with those long arms, blocks everything in his radius.
2nd and 10 at the 39 after the incompletion. Martin not afraid of this defense. Martin should be afraid of Dominguez, his 3rd sack, and it's now 3rd down and 18 following Tulsa's 3-and-out stop.
Well, you know, normally Martin does a pretty good job of letting his routes develop so his wide receivers can clear that traffic, but how many times have we talked about the internal clock? You can only stay in the pocket for so long. And when you've got old number 69 across from you, I think you speed that clock up a little bit. We've seen some rush passes because of that.
So 3rd down and 18. Tulsa going to need a monstrous pass to get out of this one. And Martin's going long in one-on-one coverage. The pass is incomplete. Godspeed. He's upset. He should have had it.
Yeah, not an easy catch. Godspeed, you're the number 1 wide receiver on this receiver corps. You're supposed to come down with that. But give that almost entirely, although it was great coverage, and he should the receiver should have absolutely caught that ball. But Dominguez, again, right in the face of Martin, making him rush that pass. That had a lot to do with that play going for an incomplete.
But again, the play calling is there. 3rd down and 18. Yeah. They threw it 18 yards. Would have had the 1st down if he would have caught it. That has certainly not been the problem for Tulsa tonight. His defense going to have to stand tall again, but a bit deflating as the offense does nothing with it after the defense finally got a stop.
Well, now here we go again. You're putting the onus of this game on the Desparados defense. They stepped up in the last series, did a really good job of stopping the Storm before they could even get anywhere close to any type of field goal range. So let's see if they can do it again as we're at the 38-yard line.
3 receivers all spread across the line for Cochran. Cochran, deep drop back. Cochran bombing it down the field. Wide open! Oh, see you later. Optimus Klein touchdown in a blown coverage.
It only takes one mistake, Cam. One mistake can turn this game on its head. And unfortunately for Tulsa, that mistake was made by their secondary. And Optimus Klein here, I believe he's on a post route. And there's just nobody even close. I'm not sure what Murray was seeing out there if he was just playing the short zone. But boy, does he get burnt by Klein, who isn't known as really a speedster, Cam. He's more of a 50-50 artist. But there are more than enough wheels there to burn this secondary.
Said meal and then wheels.
Meals on wheels. That's exactly what the secondary was.
AJ pick 6 of the 100 bits. R. Cochran with the 100 bits in the chat. And Optimus Klein opens this game up, and now Tulsa's task just got a lot tougher. 31-13. This defense that came into the league, or came into the night, pretty average to above average, is not playing that way by and large here tonight.
No, and that's just a big mistake to, one of the best players here in the SFL. So it's kind of hard to totally blame them because this is a talented group. And let's remember, Optimus Klein last season in the regular season only had 5 touchdowns. That's his 5th touchdown so far this season. So he's on a better pace than he was last year. And let's remember, they won a championship last season.
Ball can't get away. Well, a lot of Southern teams watching the ball game are happy about this. If Tulsa does end up losing, that would be New Orleans' number 6 automatic qualifying spot to claim, and that would move everybody up 1, including Las Vegas, who would get into the wild card picture at 4-4.
Yeah, and that just, we have a lot of games to play, Cam, so, I'm sure that Tulsa is nowhere near being comfortable with sitting at 4-4. They know that they've got to win some ball games here in the last few to get themselves in.
Robinson picks up 2. Majesty on the tackle. Also of note, if Tulsa loses this game, they go from the number 6 spot to being on the outside looking in. So games are incredibly important at this point of the season. Tulsa trying to keep a 4-game win streak going after the 2-yard Robinson rush. 2nd down and 8. Handoff Robinson again, and Robinson is going backwards for a loss of a yard. Didn't see them run that play at all in the first half, and what happened to these runs down the right side that were so effective?
Well, I think that's called halftime adjustments, Cam. I mean, Alaska went into halftime. They saw that they were getting gashed by Robinson on the ground in the first half, and it looks like they've made some adjustments here, and they're just more aware of his running game now.
3rd down and 9. Martin needs to make something happen. Deep ball down the middle, double coverage incomplete. It looked like Corey Jones was wide open.
Yeah, it looks like both of the outside receivers were wide open. But, Martin has a tendency to get locked in on a receiver at times, and he just had a certain target he wanted to go to on 3rd and 9, and unfortunate for him, he was double covered.
Starting to bubble out of control here for Tulsa after a pretty strong first half. You almost have to wonder just how crushing that end of first half touchdown was for Alaska after Tulsa was down just 17-13 in the waning seconds of the first half. This is Como from the 34-yard line, and not much there. Gain of 4 to the 38. And Tulsa has to find some chops here. They don't want to be 4-5 on the outside looking in of a very clumped up South.
Well, that series it had all the inklings of a defeated team already. This is a Tulsa team that got back into this game in the second quarter, and despite what happened at the end of the first half, the defense came out and stalled this hard to stall Alaska offense right out of the gate. But Tulsa's offense just doesn't seem to have that same oomph that they had in the second quarter.
Klein now $150 and a penny for 8 receptions on that 5-yard pickup. 6:58, and the clock will begin rolling now. Tulsa in a bit of a pickle. 31-13. Storm looking for 9-0, defending their title. 3 receivers. Cochran stepping up in the pocket. Cochran going to be sacked. Excellent job there by Kyron Hill, the linebacker, to bring up 3rd and 7.
Well, Cochran not known as the most mobile quarterback in the SFL, but he has just enough mobility to buy time to make plays there. I think he just miscalculated climbing the pocket, and when he tried to climb back out, the defenders were on top of him.
5 wide, Cochran, deep shot open. Man, just wide open. I mean, he's running into his own, Steven, is he not? As Como picks up the first down, step up on that.
Well, I don't mean to diminish what Cochran means to this team, but look, the play calling is just excellent here by Alaska, and they really do scheme their receivers wide open. You have a feeling that if Martin had this offensive scheme and this receiver core, he could make similar plays, but we're seeing him having to throw into double and triple coverage, not always making the best decision. That's where Cochran really makes a difference, his excellent decision making.
3 receivers, 5:45 to go in the third. Handoff goes to Williams. Williams got through 1, and then Kanye Rockefeller, who's been actually playing a pretty good game, picks up 4. He's been all over the field while Ball has been a bit quiet.
Yeah, but both of these safeties for Tulsa can bring the thump, and they've done so tonight. You know, it's dangerous to throw down the middle of the field with them really like piranha out there waiting for their bait. But that's maybe one of the reasons why we haven't seen a lot of Jason Williams running the ball tonight.
Cochran on 2nd and 6, deep ball, touchdown. Klein again.
Well, absolute clinic. Klein and Cochran looking to be, in mid-season form at mid-season.
Beginning, end, whatever.
Maybe championship form, honestly. I mean, this is just too easy here in the third quarter. And I have to say this, Cam, Tulsa's defense, outside of that first series, they've just kind of laid down, and their offense has done the same. And we're just seeing the remnants of a team that is just beat down and has lost their fight. They need to get a little bit more of that fire that we were talking about. And they just seem their spirit and their faith in being able to win this game just seems to have leaked out the doors of the stadium.
100 bits from Cochran, 38-13. The major benefactors from a potential loss is New Orleans at 4-4. And Stephen, we've seen just a touch of the Pharaohs this season, but man, they've won 3 in a row too. They're playing some great ball. Yeah,
and you know, this Tulsa team actually had their 4-game winning streak start with New Orleans. So, you know, they have proven that they can beat that New Orleans team, but I think that the Pharaohs are a much different team than they were even just 4 games ago.
They're definitely a unique bunch. Donk Bonkers is one of a kind, and they've got a rookie quarterback, number 1 overall draft pick, who has really gotten a lot more patient with his younger receivers as the season has gone on, and they've been a fun team to watch.
Yeah, and we had them early on in our season, Cam, and called their game, and we saw really a young team that was dropping passes left and right, and now they're starting to catch those passes.
Martin going to be sacked, loss of 7 yards. I hate to see the score where it is, only because I wanted to see what Sanzo Robinson would have done all night, because he was eating the Storm alive, and potentially a nice little game plan being developed by a future opponent who saw the success Tulsa had there.
Yeah, and there Martin in that particular play just trying to make something happen, trying to hold the ball a little bit too long to allow his receivers to get open, but that pass rush was on top of him before he could escape the pocket.
2nd and 17, and Martin going to be sacked again. This has been a nightmare fourth quarter for Tulsa. Dominguez kind of rubbing it in there. Doesn't really need to do that. That's his 4th sack, loss of 3.
Well, I mean, if I'm the offensive coordinator, I am getting into the faces of these offensive linemen. They have got to give this quarterback time to get the ball off, especially on 3rd and 20. He's going to need all the time he can get. to get this one past 20 yards.
And he got it. First down to the 45. And Godspeed now 62 yards on 4 catches. And I'm with you, Steven. I don't think offensively it's been the play calling much at all tonight. It's just been the execution up front and Martin delivering to, getting his superstars involved.
Yeah, and we've seen him have success here on this corner route. And here delivers a perfect ball to Godspeed to his outside shoulder, away from the defender, and just giving his quarterback receiver every opportunity to make the play. And this line giving the quarterback enough time to find Godspeed.
So 1st and 10 at the Tulsa 45. 4 receivers for Martin. Down 4 scores. Martin outside, caught, had a lot of time that time, and connects with his receiver. Somebody asked about Cochran and Klein's updated stat line. Cochran, 32 of 36, 381 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He has had it good tonight. Klein, 9 catches, 181 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Cam, I've noticed this, that Tulsa's receivers have had a lot of success on the outside, but when we have to go in the middle, specifically deep middle, that's where the trouble has been, as Martin's able to really connect on a nice ball there on the drag route by number 87, the tight end Danderson, and convert that first down. But anytime that Martin has looked deep middle, that's where the trouble has been. I think that Martin really needs to look more to the outside, and specifically Godspeed, who's been playing well despite the low numbers.
Meanwhile, that's all that Alaska's been doing is going deep middle with success. On the flip side, Martin outside. Oh, Goodspeed dropped another. It was a bit out of his reach, but it hit him in the hands. That's 2 drops, and he is letting Martin down.
If you're going to be the top dog here in Tulsa, you've got to come away with those plays. There, a great route by Godspeed as he fakes in and then goes to the outside. Goes for naught, as he does have to make a jumping attempt to catch that ball. But look, your number 1 receiver should have golden hands and be able to bring in those balls and make big plays like that when you need them the most.
He may not have even had to dive. The official got in his way and slowed his route down as Martin on 2nd down and 10 got rid of it just in time. That looked like a late hit on the quarterback. No flag as Carroll was coming in, or check that Carroll on the coverage of Dominguez, but still it looked like Martin took a shot there late.
Yeah, he absolutely did, Cam. You're right, but still able to deliver the ball on point. And Goodspeed knows that he was going to have to take a hit there in order to bring that ball in. You absolutely should bring that ball in despite the hit if you're the number 1 guy.
3rd down and 10 at the 45. Martin's been living on 3rd and long, and Martin's now living in Alex Dominguez's living room. 5 sacks, 4th and 14, and people are wondering what the special sauce is with Alex Dominguez at either defensive end or defensive tackle. Max Paul has had the best defensive lineman in this league before defensive linemen were even trending.
Well, that's easy. The special sauce is sexy. I mean, he just is oozing it. And clearly, the opposing offensive linemen are just enamored and allured by Big Sexy because they allow him to blow by them on the regular. But you're right, Cam. There's something special about Dominguez, and he's having a big night tonight. We see him really dominate in spurts, but tonight it seems like he has been it's been kind of an all-around game for him, and he'll come up in big spots like that, causing a 4th down.
Seems like every drive he gets one. 1st and 10 from the 20. Alaska still has not has been stopped just one. Look at that catch. Has been stopped just once offensively. 6 scores on 7 possessions. That 3 and out to start the second half was the lone stop of the game for Tulsa.
I'm sorry, Cam, but that play, how did Como come up with that ball? It looked like it was going to be a pass defend and knocked down pretty easy, but somehow Como able to concentrate and bring that ball in. Boy, spectacular play by that wide receiver.
Alaska's outscored Tulsa 21-0 since the 2-minute warning. Oh, great play in the open field on Nordellis. That was, check that. I thought it was ball, but Kyron Hill again making a stop, and he spears Nordellis short of the sticks.
Well, a rare mistake by an Alaskan offensive player there, as the offensive lineman not able to hold that block long enough for Nadelis to get around, and a mistake by the running back to getting, again, too close to the fire.
3rd down and 1 at the 29. And Cochran fires out to Nordellis, race for the sticks. Didn't get it. Boy, he made that closer than it probably should have been. Excellent job on the near side by Kyler Murray. And I don't think Alaska's, well, they don't even have a chance to contest this.
That's right. They ran out of challenge flags using both in the first quarter. But at this point, with the game and the score that it is, they probably don't mind as much. But very close there. And another situation where the ball is just delivered just a little bit late as that fair catch is made, giving Tulsa the ball there at the 35.
Robinson, 86 yards on 13 carries, but his time has been limited here. Corey Jones without a single catch still tonight, and Godspeed with just a couple of catches in the second half. Stephen Bush still stuck at 2 catches for 24 yards, the former Renegade. And, man, this has been a rough third quarter for the Desparados, but still a lot of time left for Martin. He's going to start the drive with a throw out to Robinson. Has to make a man miss. He cannot. Loss of a yard. Great open field tackle by getting a lot of love from his teammates, and we didn't catch the number.
Well, that's where, this game plan betrays you, Cam. There, Tulsa in a formation where it looks like they want to run, trying to trick Alaska's defense into getting into a defensive front to really stack the box and going to pass. But in this situation, they know they're not going to run. So now all of these Alaskan defenders are swarming to these passes. They're just not full.
And that's the end of the third quarter, 38-13. We'll keep it here. This is the SFL Network on Twitch, presented by APM Music. Third down and long again for Michael Martin and the Desperados. And Martin fires, caught middle for a first down. That's Stephen Bush's first catch of the second half, and another really good ball from Michael Martin.
Yeah, and a dangerous play. We've talked about deep middle as a very suspect place to actually throw the ball. But here, Bush, although he's surrounded by 3 Alaskan defenders, able to bring that one in. Those are the type of catches that you would hope that Godspeed brought in the previous quarter. Maybe they should have been looking to Bush's number more.
3 wide. Martin changing the play, 10.5 to go in the fourth. Martin to throw, far side, dropped. Boy, Tulsa having some trouble tonight. Chad shoutouts, Biz Woofer, Iowa Matt 75, Vancouver Legion, I'm effing problems, Swole 2011, Iowa Matt 75, Monty RX, C Pundy, Swole 2011, Alex 4210, Iceman Gervin 44. All with us in the chat amongst 50 or so of their friends. 38-13. Tulsa let this one get away from them. Second down, out to Robinson. And Robinson manages to pick up 4.
Yeah, and this Alaska defense at this point in the game, they'll let you get that. They'll let you get those, short 4-yard gains there. But, Cam, we haven't really praised the Storm defense as much as we probably should. Now, of course, Alex Dominguez gets all the love, the sack leader, but he has a great supporting cast around him and really some superstars of their own.
4 receivers. Martin, 3rd and 6. Incomplete. Deep middle, Stephen. Deep middle. It has been tested a lot tonight and has not worked well for the most part for Tulsa, and they'll have to punt again.
And I think that is also, not only throwing in that really great coverage there, but Martin and his offensive linemen are getting bull rushed, and their linemen are actually being pushed back into Martin. And there we saw it affect the pass as he delivers a duck, quack, quack, trying to get it to the defender, no dice.
Do you always have to clarify duck with quack, quack? Do you think people think you're saying something else?
Back in I think it was season
Good stop
7
there.
or 8. Yeah, excellent. I think it was season 7, Cam, that you had mentioned during a Dallas Roughnecks game. You had said quack, quack. And now every time that we mention duck, it's almost like OCD, having to like lock the door 3 times or knock. Like, I got to say quack, quack anytime I say duck.
We'll take a look at the Week 10 slate here in just a minute. It is phenomenal. One of the best Week 10 slates we've probably ever had in the SFL, and that's saying a lot, as Cochran will drop back to throw and fire it out of bounds. Mexico City's at Vancouver. That starts things off Friday night. The international rivalry, yes, Cade Stevens was in bounds, not according to R62. And Vancouver is 2-6. They will need that to stay alive, fresh off a bye week, and Mexico City trying to turn things around in a mini slump themselves.
Yeah, Vancouver, even though they're 2-6, let's not forget, they took this Alaska team to the wire, had an opportunity at the last second to win the game against an undefeated team. So don't underestimate Vancouver, and they could be a sleeper here late in the season.
Up next Saturday night, it is the Texas rivalry, Dallas and Houston. Last time they played, Warren Murray went down early in that game. Seems like somebody's always getting damaged in that rivalry, but Dallas hosts. The Lobos need this victory to stay in the playoff race.
Yeah, one of those games where you kind of throw out the records because these two teams, you just kind of never know what's going to happen.
Cochran's pass caught for a first down. He continues his superb play. First down to the 27. That's Klein with another catch. That puts him over 200 yards. Sunday afternoon, the 4-4 Las Vegas Fury will take on the 2-6 San Francisco Sharks. The Sharks have lost 4 straight games by 1 possession. Meanwhile, Vegas trending in the positive direction. And if the score holds up, will be right in that 10th spot in the wild card race. Stephen does not care about Las Vegas and San Francisco.
No, I've got something to say. I'm just going to let this play out.
Okay. Cochran's throw out of bounds.
What does it matter? Vegas, for me, early on, they were really just trying to discover who they are. Ran really heavy that first game and started to slowly implement their passing game. And I just think that they just, like most, of these expansion teams or newer teams, they just start to figure themselves out mid-season, and then we see some really strive. And I think Vegas could be one of those teams.
And that is a rematch of that Week 1 disaster there for San Francisco. They're obviously a much improved team, and they at home do not want to put up the showing against Vegas as they did in Week 1 and would love to even that series. Fan night potential game, there's a lot of them on this list. The 5-3 Baltimore Vultures against the 7-2 Queen City Corsairs from Buffalo, who just lost in Buffalo to London. A lot of debate this week about who the top team in the East is, and Baltimore's co-owner Thomas Paternitti came out earlier this week and said, I don't know what y'all are talking about, everybody's good.
Well, he isn't wrong. I mean, look, that's a classic matchup. I mean, that is going to be a prime matchup for me. Baltimore and Queen City. These are obviously Queen City already trending upwards, but Baltimore really stumbling early on. They get T-Pat as their first offensive coordinator, then head coach, and then he starts to kind of mold this playbook, and we're seeing the fruits of that as Baltimore now really a legit contender. I'm really interested to see these two really old school SFL teams go head to head.
Great return from Charles Ball, picks up about 15 yards. And Tulsa's defense gets another stop, but the offense just still sputtering here in the second half. Hey, if the score holds, Tulsa and Atlanta are both going to be 4-5 next week at the Hive. Another fan night candidate there, as these two teams will be just in a dogfight for victory number 5, and that is going to mean big things heading down the stretch in the South.
Yeah, and look, from what we've seen from Tulsa in this game, I've liked some of the things like this. Sonzo Robinson.
Great run.
I think you maybe get him going a little bit more against Atlanta. Boy, I surely like their chances. I think that if they could go in a time machine and redo this, Tulsa would have run Robinson a lot more than they did tonight because he has been fantastic. And if he would have been as successful as we've seen by average, he would have kept this Storm offense on the sidelines a lot more.
Hand off to Robinson again, picks up 4 yards. He's over 100. This is the best I've seen him look all season. New Orleans is at Oklahoma City, 4-4 at 3-5. Is that not a big game for the Renegades or what? Trying to make the playoffs for back-to-back seasons. They have some work to do against the Pharaohs, who've already beaten Oklahoma City once in a classic game, that pick six from Tank Bennett that made the top plays on SFL Blitz. That rematch commences also in Week 10.
Yeah, and that's, this is going to be a whole different game for New Orleans as they have to go into Oklahoma City as that pass is somehow completed. It looked like off the back of the defender. Where are those catches by Godspeed there earlier in this game? But that's a miracle catch. That, that's going to be a highlight of his night. But going back to New Orleans at OKC, look, New Orleans is one of those uptrending teams that we could see as a possible sleeper, and in Oklahoma City really needs to just reestablish themselves and recapture some of that fire that they saw early in the season. So really two teams scraping for every win that they can get. And another interesting one, like you mentioned, this is going to be a great week of SFL action.
Chicago's 4-4. They got to take care of business against St. Louis. It's the first game of that rivalry series this year. They played twice in the last 4 weeks. St. Louis really trending down after giving up over 300 yards to A.J. Francis this week on the ground. And they have not looked good against the run recently. Well, here's a compelling matchup. 5 o'clock. We've seen this in Fan Night earlier this season, and it was a dud. The undefeated Storm will be at the 6-2 Sioux Falls Sparrows, who just got Colin Hart 6 touchdowns this week. He scored all the touchdowns for Sioux Falls against San Francisco. And with Tulsa running well tonight against Alaska, I don't know if you remember the first matchup, Stephen, but Tyree came out and got sacked about 18 times in the first minute. Will we see more of Colin Hart and a Sioux Falls victory in that one?
Well, let's not forget, prior to that that initial Alaska-Sioux Falls game, Hart went off for, I believe, 3 touchdowns. He was really the big offensive weapon for the Sparrows in their previous win, and then just came out and laid a dud against Alaska. So the fact that Hart went off for as many as 6 touchdowns, certainly exciting, but we've seen the Storm corral Hart before. I don't expect it to be that much different, although anytime you go into Sioux Falls' house, you're in for a Fight Club type beating.
Dominguez is now drunk. He has downed a 6-pack of sacks tonight as he ends that last Tulsa drive as Cochran will come back out on the 24:47 to go. And of course, rivalry night next week. Time to settle a score. 9-0 Tallahassee at 7-1 Carolina. I don't know who's playing Sunday Night Football on NBC. I think it's the boys and the Giants. But that Carolina-Tallahassee game is going to be a must-watch. I'm going to be all over that, listening to whoever gets to call that doozy.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys and the Giants, neither one of them have won a game yet. And talking two of the hottest SFL teams so far this season, it's a no-brainer which game you're going to be watching Sunday night. But, boy, is that an intriguing matchup, Nobody's been able to get Tallahassee's number. They've gotten close. Is Carolina the one that's going to be able to put that first L on Tallahassee's standing? Boy, I do like their chances at home.
The Cowboys and Giants have played 1 week in their season. Tallahassee and Carolina have played 9 in their season, and the Cowboys and Giants have more combined losses than those two teams already. And just had to throw that out there because I know you're a big Cowboys guy. 3rd down and 4 for Alaska coming up. Ron Cochran now 424 yards, 5 touchdowns and no picks. But that is an awesome Week 10 slate. The top 2 undefeated teams in the league are both on the road against 2 of the other top teams in the league. Could this be the week that these unbeatens finally get put down? As most of SFL Nation has been waiting for that moment for a long time.
Boy, talk about some really intriguing matchups. Boy, it's going to be a tough vote for Fan Night for Monday night to select one of these games.
Cochran out to Nordellis, and that doesn't go anywhere. And both of these teams have done us justice, Stephen. We got to run through the entire Week 10 slate. We did not miss a touchdown. We did not miss a field goal. They've just kind of helped us out, gone back and forth. Dominguez doing his thing, and honestly, I mean, the game was lost when Tulsa did not do anything after their defense got the stop. That really could have put the fear back into the Storm, and Tulsa missed the opportunity, and they just have not been the same since.
Well, it was really Optimus Klein that really shut the door on any type of comeback by Tulsa with him, the big fella able to get behind the secondary twice and score relatively easy touchdowns. This is something that you can't allow, and just a mental breakdown by this Tulsa secondary. And we talked about them, losing that really competitive spirit. They just looked beat down and continued to look so throughout the rest of this game. They just felt like they just lost all hope, and it was still the third quarter.
2:38 to go in the fourth. Still, Tulsa showing a lot of positive things tonight. They certainly looked like they might be able to hang. They only lost to Tallahassee earlier this season, 16-6. Played some really good defense in that game. Gave up a lot of running, not so much passing. Majesty with the knockaway. The Storm obviously playing to form here tonight. Took them a little while to get going defensively, but the offense was ready from kickoff.
Well, I'll tell you what, this secondary here, did they play volleyball in the offseason? They are spiking a lot of balls down all game, Cam. Just been really kings of the pass defense tonight.
5 wide on a 2nd and 10 for Martin. Martin deep down the middle, incomplete. It has just not been there. And it's a lesson, I think, to all teams around the league. If you want to go deep middle on Alaska, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, and that was even to the outside. So obviously Alaska, they just really have some great playmakers, Cam, in their secondary. You've got Evan Carroll, Ryan Davidson, Ryan Tobin, and they have a role player and strong safety in Hernandez. So, these guys have just proven to be one of the, if not the top secondary in the league, and they're not allowing some of these deep passes in. I say that Godspeed gets a nice completion there on the deep out where he's wide open. But I think at this point the Storm are just playing so far back, they're allowing that. They just kind of want to get this game over with.
Martin 22 of 36 as Godspeed runs into Merrill. Don't think I forgot about your bits shout-outs. I am JD2X with the 300 bits. 100 bits from I'm a F and Problem, 100 bits from AJ Pick 6 here recently, as Tulsa's trying to make this final score look a little better. Alaska pitching a shutout defensively here in the second half. That pass is almost intercepted, as for the first time tonight, the outside was just not open, and it should be mentioned, Alaska's defense probably does not get enough credit. They're third in the league. They give up just 15.25 points per game, only behind Queen City and Mexico City, who obviously are pretty good.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, they don't get enough praise. Obviously, Dominguez does, but the rest of that supporting cast, they play so well. It's just unfortunate for them that their offense has just really been the star of the show for this team and been really unstoppable. But I'm sure knowing these defenders, they don't mind that because they prefer winning over everything else.
Pass caught by Miller on that last play and then intended for Godspeed. And you look at Corey Jones on the far sideline. He's saying, what do I got to do to get a target? And that has been probably the biggest enigma of this game, is the fact that Tulsa has just not managed to get Corey Jones involved. And that little extra weapon, maybe short middle or short outside, could have really helped the Desparados tonight.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they've got a role-playing strong safety out there, and you would think that you'd want to attack his part of the field, but we have rarely seen Tulsa attack that area, and that's just probably a mistake in the game plan. But as Tobin here has been perfect all night in coverage, surprised he hasn't come down with an interception or two, but here does just enough to knock the ball away. And boy, Godspeed just really being overused and overlooked at and over-targeted tonight, and hasn't come through on some plays that he probably should have.
Boy, 300 bits from Jason1347, 100 from AJ Pick 6. Sioux Falls very well represented tonight here on Fan Night, getting the win 42-39. One of the wildest games of the season in San Francisco after Zulu got hurt in the first quarter. Martin is going to be sacked again, now outside of field goal range, which is a shame because Tulsa was about to get their first points of the half. And that, I believe, is now 8 sacks for Alaska tonight.
Wow. And Big Sexy celebrating like he got the sack. He knows that it's time for the entire defensive line to eat. Let's get everybody in on this feast. And, hey, Tulsa here going for it here on 4th down.
4th down, 16. Martin, when he's had time, has been good on 4th down. Pass is caught. They said he caught it.
What?
Stephen Bush. That was close.
Yeah, I would consider that a gift. Let's take a look at the feet here. Does he get a foot
I think
down?
he did.
He might have, yeah, Cam. You just need 1 foot.
Bam.
Down here in the SFL.
The replay booth
They're gonna review it.
whether the pass was caught.
It looked like he stuck it to me. We should get a better angle here to see if any of those toes were on the white.
That's what I was thinking, that he might not have got the front part of his foot down in bounds, but we're not gonna
got it.
Oh, he did.
That should be a catch. Although I'm sure Dion won't be surprised tonight if it doesn't go his way.
Pass has been ruled incomplete.
That's terrible. That's the kind of second half it's been.
Yeah, you're
What
right.
a waste.
I want to say, Cam, that when it's too close to call, they're gonna go with the call on the field. But I think we both clearly saw that he got his footed, but it was very close. But depending upon where R62 was and his angle, he makes the calls. He makes the calls.
Just sounds terrible. Cochran outside, or actually no, backups are now in. Tulsa calling a timeout, and Alaska still throwing. Well, they have not wavered here tonight from their more heavy passing attack, much more so than we usually see out of them. And Stephen, you're right. I think Espen Real, the 2 big guys up front, Ledoux and Sawyer, and they just didn't want to have any part of that tonight and tested the secondary instead.
Yeah, and to much success. And that's what I thought it was going to be scary if, as Paul there drops the pass in the backfield. It wasn't going to go for a gain anyway, so probably a good thing that he dropped it. But Cam, this offense is really scary in Alaska because they are equally as adept at throwing the ball and running the ball, and on any given week, they can decide to do one more than the other based on their opponent and how they scout the defense. And they really want to, take advantage of those weaknesses, and they have the tools and the game plan to do it.
Deep ball is incomplete. That's the backup quarterback, Cap Rooney, out there, and that brings up 4th down. So Alaska, not taking too much time off the clock, will punt it away. Well, Stephen, we have 1 month left of the regular season, and then Wild Card Wednesday. Stephen, it's 1 month from tonight. 1 month. That's it. Wednesday, October 10th. Wild Card, baby! Woo! As Charlie from It's Always Sunny would say. If you know that show, I did a perfect rendition there. So you're welcome. For all of those of you who tuned in and stayed in, you got to hear the Charlie wild card, baby.
Well, I always took it as a badge of pride if I was in the chat and a viewer and was watching these kind of blowout games here at the end. I felt like I was just a little bit more of an SFLer than everyone else.
That's right.
I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking through this to the dirty end, baby. And I'm going to be at the end of when the game is already off, the broadcast is off, I'm going to be the one in the chat GGing everybody. So, these are our diehards. These are the guys that absolutely love the league, and we appreciate you so much sticking it out with us.
Martin's pass is caught by Godspeed. Biz Wolfer, PB and Jotter, HWJ 1512, I am JD2X, Mighty RX, Eric JDWA, and many others still with us in the chat room as Godspeed is racking up some yards here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, we got a face shot of the backup quarterback for Alaska, Rooney, and he is a dead ringer for Ron Cochran. Has there been some kind of paternity test happening? Maybe soon, because they look like twins. That would be funny if they were actually twins and didn't know it, and our quarterbacks on the same team. That would be a great story.
Well, Ron definitely stole all the good genes, I guess, because haven't seen much out of Rooney here in the fourth quarter that would lead you to believe they're identical twins.
You're right.
Although I don't think that's how science works, but what do I know? I'm just a football guy.
That Rooney pass was a duck. Quack, quack.
Oh, we've really done it now with
Full
1:23 to go in the
Full
fourth.
circle.
Hey, this is the time, talking about the real diehard SFL fans. Still 54 people with us. Appreciate that. But, hey, I mean, as Martin's pass is intercepted, that's the first turnover of the game. And all the way up, hey, Ryan Tobin finally got himself one. There you go, Tobin. Great play.
Well, my first question is, why is Tobin still out there?
Yeah.
But he is, and able to really come away with that one. He's been terrific in coverage all night. Could have had him as many as 3 of those. Able to pick this one off. I mean, it's going to look good on the stat sheet. It's going to bring his total up to 5. But Ryan Tobin really has been outside of Dominguez, been a real defensive leader in this game, as Ron Cochran's twin there is under center in victory formation.
Talking about Tulsa, they're last, and Alaska will be able to run out the clock. Why? Because we still have more to talk about, Steven.
I did want to mention this. When we talked about bits and being in the chat, during one of the early Dallas Lobo games, we're not known for running the ball often, and someone in chat mentioned for every run they were going to donate a certain number of bits, and I was just smiling from ear to ear because I know I had game planned for my team to run a lot. So as those runs start piling up, you see the WTFs in the chat because he's having to pay out a ton, based a lot more than I bet he thought he would, because we ran the ball like crazy that night.
Under a minute to go, the hijinks of the SFL for sure. Does it, Steven, I wonder, I just want to experiment with something.
Yeah.
Duck. Oh, see, it doesn't work if somebody else says it. It's only when you say it.
Yeah,
okay.
I've got to.
Well, appreciate everyone for hanging tough with us. Alaska's been all over Tulsa, outscoring them 14-0 in the second half, and the Desparados just did not show a lot of muscle in the second half. But, better days are ahead, and they definitely showed that they've got some talent on this squad that can compete with the Storm team. And, so have a lot of teams this year. Mexico City, Las Vegas was close. London was close. Well, remember that London-Alaska game we had in prime time? That was an incredible game. But no team has been able to pull it off. And that's the hardest thing is you got a ton of talent, but you got to win, baby.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top in Alaska. It has been the cream of the SFL, but in games, they just seem to elevate as the game continues and progresses while, their opponents make mistakes.
Well, there's a wrap-up on the stats. It's hard to take these total stats just in full because the second half was just a lot of junk yards and junk plays on both sides. First half, really more of an inkling. Dominguez actually was the second leading tackler in the game with 7 and officially credited with 5.5 sacks, as this is going to be the Klein and Cochran show. Cochran ultimately will probably get player of the game, so we'll go over Optimus Klein's stats. 10 catches, 194 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But Jeff Como also had 10 grabs for 89 yards and a score.
Yeah, what's surprising to me on the stat sheet that Alaska had 4 total rushing yards. That's, out of 433 total.
Way out of character.
Yards. Way out of character. And probably something Tulsa didn't anticipate they were going to be that pass heavy, especially with Cochran coming out of a 5-interception game where we failed to score a single receiving touchdown. So, we've seen a lot of Jason Williams this season, and we saw him more as a receiver than a rusher tonight. But the other big storyline coming out of this game is Alex Dominguez and his dominance really string throughout this game. He would pop up every once in a while, but certainly making a difference even just helping other defensive linemen get to the quarterback and putting pressure on Michael Martin. But he currently, Cam, has 32 sacks on the season total, and that is just jaw-dropping.
That's disgusting. Ron Cochran or Cap Rooney, I don't know which. 43 of 48, 426 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. How is that not a perfect QBR? Ridiculous. Hey, Ryan Tobin, unofficially, 5 pass deflections tonight to go along with that pick. His great night was not lost on anybody around here. For Jeff Melanishin doing a phenomenal job on stats. By the way, Tulsa ended up with 30 first downs unofficially. And for Stephen Mullinex, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Until week 10. Go ahead, Stephen.
Wave goodbye, Cam.
Wave goodbye.